I'm here. I worked my first day at this eco-gîte, which is a eco-tourism place, and I'm staying in that cabin there and learning how these eco houses are built. Today's task was to fill the creases with this woolen sawdust, which helps with insulation. And otherwise, I'm gonna go for a hike now. It's past 4 o'clock. Don't have too much sun left. I'm going for a little hike, hiding in the shade. And one of the observations is that just like where I was in Spain and Castile y Leon, there's so many rocks here, though these rocks are really solid in comparison to those breaky ones. And there's a lot more oak trees here. It looks more natural vegetation. I'm in Labastide. Got dropped off here by my host. And to explore. I'm going on a mini kilometer hike, several kilometers in, and I'm going down towards a gorge. But I just find this so interesting. I've never seen moss growing on trees so much. Here's the pathway. Why is there's crazy rotting jelly mushrooms growing? Just to get an idea of where I'm at, I'm in the Ardèche region, and up ahead is the Ardèche River, which we'll get to shortly. There's some more unidentified mushrooms. I can hear the river up ahead. Down and down I go. The gorge is up ahead. Ew, someone is trying to clean here. Here's the river Ardèche. Wow! Check out those caves up there. Huh. And here's what the trail looks like. Log in the middle. Half sandy, half rocky. Beautiful music in the background. Suddenly, other parts of this trail are not so easy to get through. Might be because it's winter and there's more storms that walking the trails gets a lot trickier than I remember in summer, because there probably hasn't been anyone to come through here to fix the paths up since it happened. Ugh. And it was the same thing after that huge tempest, Gloria, that hit the Mediterranean, Barcelona, that also hit us in La Roque. This forest afterwards was destroyed. Well, lots of fallen trees, and the path was destroyed. It's just hard as hell getting through. Sometimes I notice I get so focused on walking the path that I forget to see what's beside it that I came here to walk through. So I'm painting and drawing. But what a crazy cave that is over there. Wow. So wet here. Oh, let's see what's up top. Oh. Okay, camera away. And this is what it looks like. That's crazy. You could spend the night in here on a nice summer day. Like how there's even a cave here. This is fucking crazy. Oh, it goes a ways back there. Fucking hell. I am too sissy to walk through here too much without a light. But it gets enough light here. Oh. Notice I have a dark cave phobia, and I am afraid of wandering around in the middle of a dark place, especially since I've fallen in 2 wells while walking around in well-lit forests with obvious with shrubbery growing around everywhere, hiding the holes. And I've heard of scary stories of people wandering in caves and falling down holes, and it just feels like begging for it. It looks like a pier here. This is one carved away along rock that's connected, and it just looks like a man-made pier in some ways. Effing hell. Nature is incredible. I wanted a better look at that. Made it through the rocky part. Now I'm going back up the hill back home. Found this beautiful souvenir along the way. Let's see if I can get a focus. It's a volcanic rock. Oh, my heart is racing from climbing all that. Whew, I feel so alive! This is just a side valley in Vallon de Pont d'Arc. Imagine how people must have walked these paths every day, walking past each other, living in old medieval lives. My hosts do a lot of lead rock climbing here, and as I don't have my equipment, they recommended me this spot to do bouldering. And as you can tell from my hands, I gave it a try, though one of the rocks came loose, and if it could have been a really bad accident. So I'm going to see the other place, but I don't feel too comfortable climbing in these sorts of places alone. I can do some grip work, but unfortunately I need a better spot than this to practice. This is actually not a bad place to be climbing compared to the others. I can climb a little bit and work my grips and fall back down here instead of worrying about falling on weird angled rocks there. Oh, this turned out to be actually a really good trail. I left my magnesium mark. I guess you just have to be creative with some of them, how to make a route out of what's not there. But it's a little crumbly, which makes it difficult and scary at times. I happened across this abandoned house, and it's helping me visualize sizes for the house that I want to build. I've been drawing out ideas, sketches. This has some pretty neat uses. They use these rocks as part of a chimney, and here they have, this is still supporting it, but I guess if you have a stone that's wide enough, that works just as well. So yesterday I finished insulating all of the outer walls all around the building, and I added this impermeable layer to keep the water from going in. And now the task is taping up all the edges. Church, mayors, bikers, Vanyas. In the summer, this must be packed. Exiting Vanyas, you can see Labastide in the back of my destination. I've been walking for about an hour on these sorts of trails. You don't see much. I've been planning out what I'm going to do once I return to Lithuania. I decided that my three areas to mainly focus on this year are progress on the house. I got to do some more design work on it. I've started looking at supplies. I'm likely going to do it out of clay as part of the wall with straw on the outside and a lime plaster, and make it a dome house with a mezzanine floor to store the bed. It's still in the ideation phase. However, I'm going to be held up with that with the land surveyors. Otherwise, I want to focus on the forest garden as number 2. So there's work to be done, like planning, mapping out the area, triangulating the locations to get a map that I can actually start designing with. And then I'll have to do a sun map, and I need to do a site analysis and assessment. And the third thing I want to focus on is mushrooms. I've invested with Vigo Dust some 150 euros each worth of mushroom spores and equipment, and we're gonna try to inoculate logs. I want to get the inoculations done. I ordered 1,200 some dowels of different kinds of mushrooms. Want to inoculate logs and learn how to multiply, and at the same time seed more plants. One thing I learned from last year is I tried to seed many seeds in crappy soil, but this year we're going to invest, splitting the cost between me and the Vigo Dust for vermiculite, compost, perlite, and not coconut coir, but another thing to prepare the seed pods. And we're getting some more tools for that. I've got 2 scythes soon to be waiting for me in Hamburg. Nice Austrian scythes, which it's hard to find good quality scythes in Lithuania. So I'll be returning with a full load, and I want to make the most use of my time as possible. I think I'm finally approaching the area of this place of interest. I don't exactly know what to expect, only that my hosts recommended it. Ooh. Ooh. Well, that's interesting. Stone is yellowish olivey there. And there's a huge opening. Oh. So I learned yesterday there's apparently 100,000 caves in France, and 60,000 of them are proper caves, which are pretty long, with I think at least a kilometer or so in length. And there's a lot of crazy rock structures in this country. I'd love to enter here, but oh, it's slippery. Let's through there. So there's a storm raging in Germany, and here the weather has been like this past few days. I've got a day or half morning off. My host dropped me off and somewhere over there, and he told me there's good climbing here. Here is the Cirque des Gens, the circus of people, I think is the translation. And there's a big bend in the river, and apparently this is all, there's some 260 or so climbing routes here. I only have my climbing shoes, so I'm gonna play it safe, but I wanna play around a little. Here begin the climbing routes, I think. Yeah. Oh. Yep. And they continue along here. Place is a wonderland for climbing. Ah, I wish I had the gear. I'm doing some risky bouldering while trying not to do something out of my ability, which is pretty limiting. But it's fun, and I've already got my battle scars. I'm gonna go explore more. Here's the type of fauna that's growing here. I can't tell if this is poison hemlock or some carrot. Like, lots of moss, people riding on logs. These things, I've been seeing these berries everywhere since the Pyrenees. I know sometime I'll be looking at this video footage in the future and asking myself, well, was I present in the moment? I'm trying to be present. And there's like jets flying above. You can hear them. Been hearing them almost every day. It's my last free day. I leave in 2 days. Today I fixed the bike up and going to see Pont d'Arc. It's pont is the word for bridge in French, and we will soon see what the Pont d'Arc is. What? They're working. Yeah, they're working. What? There's caves here. Alright, I'm gonna see that cave. I remembered my light, but it's either busted or the battery's dead. I'm continuing carefully. This is crazy. Yeah. you can't see much, but it goes deeper and deeper. Okay, this sucks without a light. Okay, I'm continuing on to the bridge. There it is! Pondak! Apparently, like 100, 200 some years ago, you could walk over from one side to the other. I mean, you still can now, but it's prohibited. It's sand here. Ooh, slippery. A really fun thing with this area that this rock it's solid compared to in the first place where I was in Castile and Leon in Spain. And this pathway, for example, you can play a game where you only climb up by bouldering on rocks and on certain tree roots to get up to the top. So the goal is to get up there. I play this game of getting some bouldering exercise while walking the typical path. I like this bouldering game so much. I'm gonna climb back down and do it again. It's like being a little kid and playing the game where everything but rocks is lava, and it's just making it harder for you to climb, but just enough so that it's fun. Holy cow, this place is a playground for bouldering. There's so many cracks and stable stuff. This is just like being a little kid in a playground, but an adult version. You can find new trails which to go through and make challenges. This is honestly the most fun I've had in all 2 weeks here. This is possibly the most fun I've ever had in France. This place, it's so fun for bouldering. It's amazing. I will love and miss this place. Need to remember Vallon de Pondak. The city is nothing beautiful to see there, but There's some old towns around it, like Barjac is pretty, where I was in Labastide-de-Virace, and Le Vence. Otherwise, there's just so many boulders to climb here. I've never been. Ow! Don't walk into spiky red blackberry bushes. My point is, this is like a whole bouldering hall. Man, this is just like a fun route. I climbed all the way. I climbed up this way, then over the top, went onto this other side, used that tree to climb over, got to the other corner there, then realized it was too high up to go down, and then came back through here. This is the funnest place I've been to since Barcelona with its climbing tunnel. I imagine there's many more places like this in France. I wonder what the closest place to me in Lithuania is, or if I could make a jungle gym from pine trees and using nets and stuff. It'd be fun. It's crazy how often you hear jets flying overhead. It's kind of counterintuitive to think of it this way, but winter is not a bad time to go on vacation to certain places around Europe. Because here in the summer, everyone says it's completely packed. And you get a different experience of nature when there's less people around. And it's more intimate. And just like that, my 2 weeks in Ardèche, France elapsed. I'm really gonna miss that place and the host that I stayed with. In the next part, I head back home to Lithuania.